All right, thank you so much, sir, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to move a little towards the FCT. As you mentioned, you watch the show every day, so you would obviously be abreast of what we've been discussing in terms of the security situation or perhaps the insecurity situation in Nigeria, especially with the recent happenings in Abuja, kidnapping. And we also have issues of banditry and herdsmen-farmer clashes in other parts of the country. I'd like to ask you, in terms of the responses from the government, including the establishment of the Special Intervention Squad by the IG of Police, do you think this administration has started on the right note to dealing decisively with insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, I think the administration will still need advice about tackling security. The security situation is created by international forces. We have the problem of the Middle East, the invasion of Iraq some years ago by America and Britain about weapons of mass destruction. These are a fallout of the insecurity created in the Middle East. And we then have on our continent Islamic movement which has been terrorizing northern Africa, especially operating actively in Niger, in northern Nigeria, in northern belt of West Africa. It's very sad to see people creating insecurity in our community. We should all be facing development, progress of economic development, not insecurity. Abuja should be well protected. Every part of the country should be well protected. Whether Northeast, where the problem started some years ago, is spread to every corner of the country. It's very appalling. I listened to one of your programs when about retired generals' view. Their views should be taken into consideration by the administration in tackling the insecurity which the country, unfortunately, is facing today.
Okay, sir. I want you to, as an elder statesman, tell me your reaction to the kidnapping and the killings in Abuja. I just understood that Nabena, the lady that was killed, was supposed to have her graduation. Nabina, the lady that was supposed to have her graduation on the 27th of this month. And they said that she had actually graduated with a first class. And the discordant tunes between the police, that it took the family of the victims yesterday coming to say that, no, we paid the ransom. And we are hearing that, oh, we rescued them. We collected them. And also, you were somebody, you were a federal, commissioner in this country. When you hear about the cases of procurement, appropriation, anyway, still being investigated by the Minister of Humanitarian Services, I mean, what do you make of all of this?
As I've said earlier, security of Abuja, the federal capital, is paramount because that's the seat of our government. The presidency is situated there. The legislature Senate and the House of Assembly of Representatives is also situated there. The Supreme Court of Nigeria is also situated there. It is the federal capital. It has the number one priority in terms of security. It's very, very sad that any Nigerian should be subject to this insecurity in any part of the country. Very sad about the case of, the young graduate whose relations paid money and she was still killed. These events in the country are very appalling. The country as a whole must be well protected, of course, including the federal capital of Abuja. Security is not something we should play with. And I hope that the president will make sure that he has the best advice within the services and also among those who have retired from the service. They may still have some useful information or advice to give the president some tips from their experience. As regards the pilfering of money by political parties, you see, when the British left the country, they left a very good civil service. The administration was very good. In 1958, there was Nigerianization policy, which led to recruitment of the best brains in the public service. Until the time, the regime of, I believe, General Babangida, the permanent secretary of a ministry was the accounting officer, not the minister. But Babangida changed it from permanent, took it away from the permanent secretary to the political appointee. That is one vital error which the government, I hope, will correct. Make the permanent secretary of the ministry who has worked through the years, let him be the accounting officer and not the minister. The minister should not touch a kobo. In all my 7 years, 7 months in Gawan's government, I didn't touch a kobo. It was the permanent secretary who will account for the money voted for the ministry every year, and that's all. So restore the office of accounting officer to the permanent secretary. Is there before the minister was appointed. He will remain there, or his colleague will remain there after the minister has left. The civil service was degraded after the purge of 1976, 75 rather, by the late General Muritala Mohammed and General Obasanjo, who took over when he was assassinated, I think in February 1976. The civil service has not recovered from that purge till today. Restore the civil service to its old role. Politicians come, politicians go. Ministers come, ministers go. From different backgrounds. The civil service, the civil servant, before you become a permanent secretary, you climb the ladder. and your past, this is your life, as it were, before you become. So that error, I believe, is vital and it should be corrected. Ministers should not touch money. Even traveling expenses, in my days when General Gawan was head of state, were kept by the officials traveling with me. So restore that status to the civil servant, not a minister to handle money. The background of the minister, you don't know the background of the minister. The president appoints, after consultation with political aides or associates. It's short term, but the civil service is there. Strengthen the civil service. And I think that will solve a lot of problems about money disappearing, money being paid into private accounts by politicians. By politicians. No. It shouldn't be.